Hello, welcome to another Tweedy Outdoors video. It has been a while, hasn't it? And look where I am. Sorry, it's just money for old rope now, isn't it? This is a place I've visited a few times, the Seven Sisters. I just felt like getting out of the city and I racked my brain for all of 10 minutes to think of where I would like to be. And I seem to just be pulled back here to the Seven Sisters. Hopefully an overnight stay tonight. Also going to do some cooking that I remember I have actually done before. I'm going to make something like a Boeuf Bourguignon. As I say, money for old ropes, just re-releasing old hits that weren't even really hits, were they? But anyway, 2 hours till sunset. I'm going to get walking. I'm at the top of the first cliff. I haven't filmed much on the way up because there's so many people, ridiculous number of people. I don't know what's going on. Past 24 maybe on the way up the hill there, and some people milling around the top. I think when I said earlier it was 2 hours before sunset, I got that slightly wrong. It was 2.5. It was just before 4 back then. And what time is it now? 20 past 4. So from now, 2 and a bit hours till sunset.
Sunset today in your current location, United Kingdom, is around 7:16 p.m. British Summer Time.
My phone's telling me what time sunset is. Thanks for that. Appreciate that interruption. There you go. That is the current view. I suppose I'm on the first sister here. Am I just up above Cuckmere Haven? You can see another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish lumps, and that's what's it called, Bell something lighthouse that I was obsessively taking shots of last time I was here. There is Bell. Is it Bellevue Lighthouse? Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up now. Terrible memory. I'm getting old. I've walked as far as that William Charles Campbell monument. Good evening, ladies. Not even facing me, how rude. I have come back to the spot where I stayed the night last time I was on the Seven Sisters. That was back in March, I think, wasn't it? I could still see people off in the distance. People are going to walk past at some point, but that seems to be basically unavoidable, I'm afraid, until it gets dark. Most of the ingredients are herein for my Boeuf Bourguignon. Like I said, I did do this before, actually. I only realised after I'd already got too far into the planning to turn back, I'm afraid. I went all the way down to Fortnum & Mason yesterday to buy a couple of the ingredients. This is the substitute for the Boeuf. It is a thing called juicy marbles. I think a surprisingly realistic rendition of the sort of flesh of a cow without having to take it off a cow. I have cooked with this once before. I think I fried this with some peaches once. It's ridiculously expensive, but the texture is, I think, very, very good. It's a real sort of leap forward in that kind of field. And then I have some of the usual things that go with Boeuf Bourguignon. There's a couple of carrots in there, an onion, some mushrooms. Also at Fortnum & Mason yesterday, I bought a bouquet garni, or in fact a tin with 4 in, which is a bit ridiculous really. Could have just got a jar of mixed herb de Provence or something. It would have likely done the same thing. Didn't bother with potatoes this time. I think last time when I did a Boeuf Bourguignon, I put the potatoes in the stew, which I don't think is very traditional, authentic. Most classic recipes don't do that. If you're going to have some carbohydrates, it would be perhaps boiled potatoes, but on the side as a separate dish. And I always try and make one pot dishes when I'm out because it's just easier if possible. So instead, can I get this out? To keep with the French theme, I have un baguette. This is part of the reason I went to Fortnum & Mason. I didn't happen to have any half bottles, and I don't really want to use half of a bottle that I also want to drink, if you know what I mean. I want something that's sort of decent burgundy, but not really nice. So This is just for the Boeuf Bourguignon. It's just going in the stew, for want of a better word. It's Fortnum Mason's own brand of Bourgogne, generic red Burgundy, a 2021 vintage. I think I've done a tasting of this before, possibly in St James's Park. It's made for them by a producer called Joseph Drouhin. I'll have a sip of that at some point. But I also have a bottle just to drink. So I have 1.5 bottles of wine, as one does. And I have a bouquet garni as well. Very standard outdoor video fare, really, isn't it? So here we are in my clifftop kitchen. Put a bit of olive oil in the pan, and I'm going to start by chopping an onion. Has it been a while since there's been a Tweedy Outdoors chopping of an onion? As I said, this video is just classic Tweedy, really. Not breaking any new frontiers or anything. Back in a location I've been in before, cooking a meal I've cooked before, all of the usual stuff, I'm afraid. The onions are going to be chopped in a somewhat rustic way. That's, I believe, how they do it in Burgundy. Okay, can you see the pan on the side of the screen? Probably not. Move that over so you can see the pan. It goes into the pan. Every time when I'm on my way to one of these trips, I sit usually on the train and run through in my mind all the things I have forgotten. Today, the first thing I realised I've forgotten was the attachment so I can put my camera on a tripod so I could take night shots, which is frustrating because this is sometimes quite a good spot to get night photography. The other thing, perhaps more critical to this meal that I realise I've forgotten to bring, is that little handle that attaches to this. So this is quickly going to get quite difficult to manage. Chop a bit of garlic as well. That's just almost immediately burning, isn't it? I might turn that off for now and come back to it actually. Perhaps I need to do a bit more preparation in advance for once rather than sort of chopping things and throwing them in as I go. If I have everything to hand, oh, I'm dropping bits of garlic, aren't I? This is a bit of a shambles. I'll put that in now. Right. I don't know why I've brought an unpeeled carrot. When I did this last time, I peeled the carrots at home. I brought this very rusty old peeler so I can do it on site. It's just such an unnecessary faff, isn't it? What does this really achieve in terms of authenticity? I don't know. I don't think anything really. Here comes some carrot chopping. We think rustic again. I like it to be sort of quite lumpy in a Boeuf Bourguignon. I don't know why. Yeah. Nice and lumpy. That can go in the... terrible camera work. The mushrooms I did pre-prepare at home. Just going to throw it all in now. I would normally add these things in gradually. Carrots probably need longer to saute than mushrooms and so on and so on. Finally, this juicy marbles then. Slightly difficult packets to open, I remember. I've got a bloody knife now. Don't worry, it's not real blood. It's sort of beetroot or something. I don't know what they use for getting that red coloration. You're gonna have to see some butchery here. How unsightly. 2 filet mignons. Just gonna roughly cut these up into chunks, I think. I remember this does sort of naturally fall apart because when I was frying it as though it were a steak, I remember it sort of crumbling a bit. Something like that, I reckon. I know this all looks like a bit of a mess at the moment, but I'm sure it will be fine. And that could just go in the pan. Possibly looks ever so slightly like dog food. Very pinkish coloured dog food. I don't know if your average dog will be very happy with this, being plant-based. Right, that's basically all of the ingredients apart from the stuff for making the sauce. Well, the whole thing is just one big sauce, isn't it? So I think I can put my knife away now. I don't think I need to do any more chopping. Right, okay, so this back on. for now, just a bit of kitchen roll to grip the edge. Can you see that? This is one of these, the major downsides, I think, of these pans without handles. You end up forgetting the handle. It was bound to happen, wasn't it? Ideally, that would have a bit more of a saute than it's getting, but it's a suboptimal pan with a very thin bottom, and the gas stove is a suboptimal stove with poor controls that has one setting off, the other setting burn things. So I think, as a matter of somewhat urgency, I probably need to open up the Bourgogne that's going to make the Boeuf Bourguignon, and get some of that in there and get it deglazing, I think. Shall I try this out of interest? I did try this once before, as I said. I think I was in St James's Park. But I am keen to see if this is actually any good. Very, very quick slurp. Sort of berry fruitish. It's on the lighter style, I would say, as Burgundy goes. Alas, as I say, it's not going to get the amount of gentle simmering I would have liked it to have had. I think just need to make sure this has liquid so it's not just burning on the bottom. And then this can cook for ages. I'm not in a rush now, I don't think. Other things that need to go in then, the bouquet garni. You normally sort of suspend that over, it looks a bit ridiculous just like that, doesn't it? Normally sometimes suspend it over the top or something. I'll drink the rest of this, there we go. I could always top up with the wine that I was intending to drink. That's how much I've, from this bottle at least, that's how much I've left myself to actually drink. Standard thing I do when I'm out cooking around sunset is that I forget to actually look at the sunset. Looking like it might be quite a nice one, actually. That is now, I think, a pretty smart sunset. I'm really happy with that. Lovely variation of colours there. I don't know if the phone camera is entirely doing it justice, but I can see a lovely gradation from still quite bright blue higher up to deep orangey pinks down at the horizon there. Lovely. See what the GoPro makes of the sunset there. Sometimes it's a bit different from what comes out on my phone. At least based on the screen on the back of each device. I think currently the phone was looking a little bit nicer, but perhaps the end result might be different. Well, this is absolutely delightful. Look at that sunset, isn't that nice? And I've done a Burgundy with Tweedy review of the wine. Put a link to that wherever that comes up if you're interested. Very nice Rossignol Trapeze 2017 Chevrolet Chambertin. Lovely stuff. What a treat. Finally, I think I have the place to myself. I think everyone else has gone home. There might be some people over there. I don't know, can I see someone in the distance sitting on another cliff top? But at least this little bump is all my own. And what a beautiful sky. That is the current state of the Boeuf Bourguignon bubbling away there. Don't know if it needs a huge amount longer. That's the nice thing about not having done potatoes is don't need to wait for them to cook. I don't mind eating carrots half raw. Those mushrooms look like they're cooking down nicely now. Do wish I'd brought a bit of flour. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to eat when it's a bit runny. It's a bit runny. I wondered if I could still get a decent shot of the sunset without even standing up, just holding the tripod up. Pretty lovely, I hope you'll agree. I did bring a stock cube, vegetable stock cube. I think you'd normally add beef stock to this. I've tasted the sauce. I don't actually think it needs it, really, to be honest. The bread's going to be pretty salty as well, so it's got loads of flavour. Let's give this another little taste. Lovely and, well, winey as you'd expect / hope. Some savoury flavours come out from the mushrooms, a little bit of herby flavour from the bouquet garnis. So I think I might just call this done. Just dig in, I think. That is the finished article. I don't know if that looks appealing or not. Maybe it does look like dog food, I don't know. I'll give this a test. Thanks to the cold weather, I can actually hold the rim there. It's a bit inconvenient, but it's not hot at least, so give this a taste. Yeah, I think I already probably just said, didn't I? It's winey, it's boozy, lots of savoury flavour from the mushrooms and that pretend beef. Nice little herby notes from the bouquet garni. Carrots actually not badly cooked, they're all right. Tiny bit on the firm side. And I have my baguette to enjoy with my Boeuf Bourguignon and my burgundy. Is that almost a thumbnail right there? Burgundy, baguette, Boeuf Bourguignon. All the B's, the Seven Sisters, which is all the S's. Seven Sisters, Sussex, South Downs. All quite S-y over there. Lovely. Well, I'd do more food commentary, but do we really need to? I'd rather just sit and watch the sunset, enjoy that over there. It's looking particularly magnificent now, so I'll shut up and just focus on that instead. Found my stock cube, which I didn't need in the end. I really enjoyed that. My Boeuf Bourguignon, that's finished now. Very nice indeed. And what a magnificent sunset it's been. This has been a real treat. I really had no particular expectations this evening for what this was going to be like. The weather was looking pretty cloudy earlier. I didn't think there was going to be much to show for it, but this has been just absolutely stunning. I'm really enjoying the wine as well. Don't know if there's enough light there to see me, but just wanted to enjoy it. A bit of post-sunset glow in the background. 20-something minutes past sunset. I was pretty much left alone for the duration of cooking. I think just total, perhaps 4 people walked past in the first few minutes after I sat down in this spot. They did sort of stare over in my direction and look a bit quizzical. But that was still before sunset, and this time of year particularly, once the sun sets, that's it, everyone's gone. Those people heading over in that direction, so I don't know if they've just walked, presumably to Berlin Gap or back to Berlin Gap, I don't know. They would have had a bit of a walk, but I guess they would have got there not too long after dark. Unless there are any night runners, night cyclists, I'm assuming from now on I'm just going to be left completely in peace here. "7:21 now, 40-something minutes after sunset. Still some nice pinks. Fading a bit now, but still pretty pleasant. I don't think it's going to work, but over there I can see the moon shining on the sea. Let's give it a go. Well, sort of. I mean, you can probably get the vague sense. It's going to be a couple of blurry splodges, isn't it? But hopefully you can just about appreciate the reflection of that. What is that? half moon, it's more like 60% of a moon reflecting on the sea there. If I tap on the moon, for an instant I can actually just see the moon, but then my phone insists on brightening the whole image up again, which is frustrating. I tap on the moon again. There you go, you can actually see the shape of the moon there. Look, 60%. Oh no, it's gone again. One last try. There we go, 60% of a moon. Oh, is it actually? Oh no, I thought it was going to stick for a minute then. No, it's back to the awful overexposed splodge. I spared you the camp setup video, if we can even call this a camp. One of the things I love about a bivvy arrangement is that should any sort of Jobsworth come along and say, you can't camp here, then, you know, it's arguable if this even counts as camping. It's just a bag on the ground. It's certainly not, I haven't put any tent pegs in. There's no structure here, there's no tent. It's just me lying down on a bit of ground on open access land overnight to enjoy the stars and the sea views and the moon and all that kind of stuff. And what's wrong with that? This is, you really can't see from the outside, can you? I've got a big, thick winter sleeping bag inside there, and underneath there, well, there is sort of a ground sheet, but it's not very obvious. And I have my usual Thermarest sleeping pad. Was it Thermarest X Lite Neo Air, whatever it's called. You don't come to Tweedy Outdoors for camp kit reviews, do you? And at the end, there's a whole jumbled mess of bags and things that I'm using as a sort of makeshift pillow. Overall, it has been nice to get out this evening, to get away from London. As I probably said at the start of the video, maybe it's been over a month since I've done any kind of proper outdoorsy stuff, hasn't it? It's been really quite a while. I've been going to my local park / woods on a semi-regular basis, but I'm not sure that quite counts. To be honest, partly just happy to get away from London. You know, home at the moment is a bit of a frustrating place. Not to do with my nearest and dearest, my family, no problem from them, but it's the neighbours are being annoying and difficult. I won't bore you with the details, but I'm really having a bit of a hard time with the uncomfortably packed in like sardines arrangement that is London. You didn't come here to hear any of that though, did you? You just want to enjoy the joy of being outdoors, and perhaps, you know, that by contrast you can appreciate why I'm enjoying it so much this evening. The only reason that it's noisy right now here is because I'm bloody talking. If I shut up, I can hear the wind a bit, but that's it. I can see the lights of ships off in the distance. I can still see the moon reflecting on the water. Annoyingly, I forgot the little attachment for my tripod, so I can't do any decent night photography. It's always disappointing either way, but I can see stars overhead. This is beautiful, delightful to be here. But on the other hand, it has also just gone 8:30. I don't know what else I'm going to do for the rest of the evening other than just sit here and stare at the moon, stare at the stars. But at least it's quiet. Looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? But I have crawled into the bivvy bag. I did some time ago, in fact. Almost slightly dozed off a while back. It's just gone 10 o'clock. Which I suppose is a not entirely unreasonable time to start thinking about going to bed, especially when it got dark 3 hours ago. It's been quite nice actually, sitting out here looking at the stars and the moon. Again, frustrated that I didn't bring that particular attachment that would let me do some probably not particularly wonderful night photography with my phone. To put it on the tripod, it's never very good if I just hold it with my hands. It's always a bit too shaky. And propping it up against, I made an effort propping it up against my bag or my boots or something, but it's never quite the same as having it on a proper tripod. Anyway, I think that might be it for this evening. Not too cold, particularly here in the bivvy bag. There's quite a lot of dew actually. I'm already feeling the surface of the bivvy is a bit damp, but that's fine. It's all quite waterproof, this stuff, so I'll be all right. Lovely and peaceful here. Gentle breeze, but not too cold, as I said. Really enjoying sitting and staring at the stars and the moon and the sea off in the distance. So I'll bid you good night, and in the morning the traditional walk back to Seaford, one way or the other, but I might just go the inland route up the river and back the way I came and get on the bus at Exeat. Does make life much easier than trying to get across that river there and walk all the way along the coast to Seaford. Anyway, that's a problem for tomorrow, so good night for now. Well, I mean, just good night. I don't know why the for now is necessary. Good morning. Hopefully you can see some of that lovely sunrise in the background. It's half an hour before the official moment of sunrise. Lots of pleasant pink and orange bits over there. I've been watching that on and off already for the past half an hour. Lovely view from here over to Boeuf Lighthouse. I remember taking lots of photos of that. Well, just in general, lots of photos and videos last time, but particularly nice around sunrise. It was a sort of okay-ish night's sleep by wild camping standards for me. I don't know how many hours I got in total. It's probably about 3 as usual. I was constantly waking up. But I was at least sort of comfortable and definitely warm. Definitely kept warm by the sleeping bag and the bivvy. And dry, although there's a lot of dew this morning. It's the outside of everything's quite damp from the dew, but inside the bivvy bag / sleeping bag, I was pretty dry. I suppose at some point I've got to pack all this wet tat up, haven't I? Never a fun job. That was it then, my bivvy setup. Same as last time I was here. No real point in showing you again, is there? But wonderfully simple. I do love a bivvy for its, that's it, you know, very straightforward. Wonder if the sun is just about ready to make an appearance. Still maybe 10 minutes or so to go until the official moment. Something like that. Lovely watching the sky over in that direction. Going all more pink now, I would say, than orange. I don't know if you're particularly interested in packing up sequencers. This is my bivvy bag, also as Tukaz. I don't know what's happened to that company. Their website didn't seem to be working when I looked at it the other day. I hope they haven't gone bust. Shame, because it was one guy in the Pyrenees making everything by hand. All a bit pricey, but I hope they're still going. But I just wanted to demonstrate how ridiculously tiny this thing is. Stuffs into this minuscule bag that is the size of a large baked potato, pretty much. It's got trapped under something. Still never had a chance to string this up properly. It's got these cords meant to tie up to a guy line or, not guy line, a ridge line or something. So you can suspend the netting off your face. I wonder if I'll ever actually do that. There you go, that's what that packs down to. Show me a smaller bivvy bag than that. 7:02 now, the official moment of sunrise. Of course, there's a bit of a cliff slash hill in the way, so can't yet see the sun itself, but I think you can get a pretty clear idea of where it will pop up any moment now. I'm almost packed up. Nice to be packed up and looking civilised by sunrise, I think. I think we can say that the sun has risen there. Looks pretty risen to me. I can see a vaguely circular object. Obviously, I'm not going to stare directly at it. Hashtag leave no trace. You would barely know I've been there, apart from the fact that the grass is slightly conspicuously drier there, where I've been lying on it. Nice spot. Again, this is, I think, almost exactly where I lay down for the night back in March, whenever that was. Tiny bit of shelter from these gorse bushes or whatever they are, which makes it a little bit more discreet. And yet, lovely views. You can see the sea over in that direction and more cliffs looking over towards Cuckmere Haven over there. I'm going to head back down pretty much the way I came. I don't know what I'll do. Am I going to walk all the way into Seaford, or am I going to be lazy and take the bus from whatever it's called, Seven Sisters Country Park, whatever that bus stop was, at sort of Exeat. First bit of the walk's the same, by the way. Nice to see a bit of scabious on this much trodden bit of greenery. Greenery? Grass? Turf? Sorry, I'm in silhouette there, probably aren't I? But what a wonderful contrast this is to yesterday, when I was really surprised, excuse me, by the number of people. As I say, a Wednesday in October. I could understand a Saturday in July or August. But I thought it would be a bit quieter midweek. Now we're well and truly into autumn. But anyway, I've had my completely selfish sole possession of the entire Seven Sisters. Now instead, by just waiting up all night. That's the way to do it, I think. There is Cuckmere Haven down there with that South Downs Way sign, which I'm very fond, in the foreground. And if I do a bit of terrible panning over there to the, I suppose this is the Cuckmere Valley, is it? You can see a bit of a blanket of mist over there, look. Over on the right hand side of the screen now. I think I will just walk back to the bus. I've done the walk all the way to Seaford a couple of times. Nice though it is. Might go and enjoy some of that mist possibly, if some of that's present in the valley on the way back to Exeat. Morning ladies. How are you this morning? Alright. Suit yourselves. Very appealing looking, that mist over there. Do like a bit of morning mist. Got a feeling by the time I get to it, it will have probably dissipated, but nice to see from afar at least. 10 to 8, back on this, whatever this is, track. Leads back to the Seven Sisters Country Park visitor centre thing where the bus stop is. Don't know if that's going to pick it up on camera, but nice cobweb glistening in the morning dew over there. Right, that's it then. Back where I started more or less. So it's been a bit of a derivative work, hasn't it, this video? A location I've been to before, almost exactly the same spot, where I spent the night, and probably some pretty similar views to that one back in March earlier this year. I suppose this is the autumn edition, that was the spring edition, and a meal I have cooked before, albeit on the South Downs that time. Varied the ingredients a bit. I think it worked better this time actually. I do think that juicy marbles, fake steak stuff, pretty good in that sort of dish. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.